Hey everyone, in this video, we're going to be talking about a misconception regarding geometry. But first, we want you to think about, are your students making mathematical mistakes, or do they have a math misconception regarding geometry? Now, there is a difference between a misconception and a mistake. So let's go over that. Okay, so a misconception happens naturally as students are building their own understanding and reasoning. Now, these misconceptions make sense to the students because it's based on their own understanding. Now, a mistake is quite different. A mistake is when a student either misremembers or misunderstands something that is factual knowledge. And we typically see this when students are trying to follow a rule or a procedure that they don't fully understand. So let's take a look at one geometry misconception. We see this misconception quite early on, and it's when the orientation of a shape changes. For example, a student may see a triangle as a typical triangle that we usually see on puzzles or on posters and things like that. But when you change the orientation of the triangle, students may have the misconception that that is no longer a triangle. So why does this happen? This happens because students are not paying attention to the properties of a shape, which is so important in geometry. So what are the properties of a triangle? It's three sides, three corners, or three vertices. Now, another property of a triangle that we often don't talk about is a triangle is a closed shape. So if you take a look at that image on the bottom right, you'll see that that is not a triangle. Why? Because it's not a closed shape. If you notice, it's an open shape because it doesn't have the corners or vertices. However, everything else on the screen is considered a triangle. Three sides, three angles, three corners. So how can we help students with this misconception? One thing we can do is to talk about and help students understand that turning or flipping a triangle does not change its properties. We need to speak to students about the properties of a shape. We need to talk to students about what an open and closed shape are. We also need to provide students with examples of different looking triangles and hexagons and pentagons and things like that. Okay, so that was one misconception we wanted to show you around geometry. Now, what is a misconception? Not a mistake, but a misconception that you are seeing your students have around geometry? Leave a comment and let us know.